Hello, welcome back to the channel as we continue on the nationwide fraud tour. Seems like it's not only Minnesota that's been affected right here. News have been coming out from Ohio too. Seems like they have been dealing with the same type of problem. But one thing I want to say is not all Somalian daycares are going to be open in Ohio due to the fact that how people are being treated. They're getting death threats and all type of threats just because they are Somalian. And if I'm seeing that in Minnesota and I'm in Ohio and I'm hearing about it, I would take precautions on what to do with my establishment or my daycare. So let's go and take a look at some of the videos that's been coming out and we can analyze it for our own self.
Okay, I'm just asking. You can't push. Well, okay. They just literally pushed me out.
Nick Shirley, I hope you see this video. Please come to Columbus, Ohio. And if you come to Columbus, Ohio, you will find the exact same fraud.
More Somali fraud has been exposed out of Ohio. This is getting out of hand, and they're all being exposed.
You get money through the state of Ohio. This is a money that gets.
According to one Midwestern Rhino Republican governor, apparently fraud is just part of doing business now.
It's a daycare center owned by Somalians and stuff like that.
Have you ever seen any kids in this place here?
No, not that I know of. I just seen it, the building itself. I've never seen nobody come out the building or go in the building.
You've never seen anybody over there?
No, not at all.
Everyone has been talking about Minnesota. Nick Shirley, the empty daycares and millions or potentially billions of dollars gone. But we're going to be talking about Ohio because that might be next. That might be Minnesota 2.0 because right now people are walking into daycare centers in Columbus, Ohio, and they're seeing the same exact things. No kids, locked doors, people getting aggressive when asked basic questions.
So right now we are in front of the Great Minds Learning Academy. This is one of the many daycare centers, learning centers here in Columbus, Ohio, that are associated with the Somali community. So this place here is the first place we're gonna knock, and we're gonna see if anybody picks up or answers the door. Let's see. So
Okay, I want to say, like I already said, they're gonna be going around not only going to daycares but going to Somalian daycares, which is definitely profiling the Somalian community at that time. I know if you check in the statistics of the one that happened in Minnesota, out of 97 that has been convicted and arrested, 85 of them are Somali nationals. But you cannot take the same mentality and bring it to a whole different state. I get it that there are Somalians there, but at this point, it's looking at like they are targeting. And he is definitely playing the Nick Shirley game. You can see he's just trying to beat Nick Shirley there and play the game fast. I can already see. And like I said, if I'm Somalian and I'm watching what is happening in Minnesota, I definitely don't want to have my daycare open at these times.
it's locked. We're ringing the doorbell here, knocking on the door. Nobody's picking up, so we're not sure what the hell's going on here, but we're gonna get out of here. Now there's somebody over there. How you doing, sir? Did you know anything about this place here?
It's a daycare center owned by Somalians and stuff like that.
Do you ever see any kids there?
Not because they use the back door, so I won't know if
They use the back door.
Yeah, I never seen nobody come in, but they use the back door.
But have you ever seen any kid? You live around here?
Yeah, on this building right here.
Oh, you're in this building.
Yeah.
You're in this building too. Let me ask you: Have you ever seen any kids in this place here?
No, not that I know of. They use the back, so I've never seen nobody come out the front.
You also see
It could be that
some potential.
it could be that that's the door they access the most, which is probably closer to their learning center. It could be too that fraud is going on. I'm just saying it could be two possible things.
SNAP benefits that's being taken away too. So
More Somali fraud has been exposed out of Ohio. This is getting out of hand and they're all being exposed. Listen to this. Somalis in Ohio are allegedly running EBT fraud rings using SNAP benefits to stock their restaurants, skimming cards to make millions. More than 34,000 Ohio households have been duped out of nearly 17 million in SNAP benefits from June 2023 to December 2024, with Somali migrant criminals using skimming devices at grocery stores to clone magnetic strip cards and steal the money, according to the Ohio Department of Job and Family Services. In addition, a recent report details how Somali-owned restaurants and grocery stores in Columbus are exploiting benefits. According to the report, migrants own restaurants with attached grocery stores that they own. They buy their ingredients in bulk with SNAP from their grocery stores, then funnel the food to their restaurants where they sell it for cash. One report claims that the Somali migrant men who own the restaurants typically have numerous wives. That's crazy. They only have to claim their first wife so that subsequent wives are able to collect welfare benefits that are then used to prop up the stores. And
yeah, they're Muslims, and usually Muslims are able to have more than one wife. But you
Up
can
to
see
4
that they just know how to finesse the system. They're going through loopholes. They know exactly where to go and find exactly how to exploit and really run away with it by just connecting everything, their families to the business, using all these resources to extract more resources out of the taxpayer. It's crazy.
this comes as of a 2022 audit of Somali Community Link, a Columbus nonprofit funded in 2020 by Somali migrants, exposed a reported $2.3 million in fraud from federal emergency rental assistance program funds. The investigation flagged missing rental aid, violations of cash management protocols, and inadequate fraud safeguards. Despite these failures, the group, tied to local politicians via campaign donations, secured $350,000 in state funding last summer for a community center, plus $100,000 from Columbus for housing and youth programs. Back in 2020, Somali brothers Hassan and Abdurrahim Noriso, former owners of Tawfiq Market in Columbus, were indicted for a 9-year SNAP and WIC fraud conspiracy totaling over $10 million. The duo allegedly swapped benefits for cash at half the value. Abdurrahim, who oversaw operations, was sentenced to 2 years behind bars. Hassan got house arrest and probation after a guilty plea. So you can defraud SNAP benefits for $10 million and you get house arrest and probation. Only if you're Somalian, I guess, because if I do that and if you and I do that, we're going to go to jail for a long, long time.
This is why it matters. Columbus has the second largest Somali population in the country, right behind Minnesota. So in this video, we're going to talk about Ohio. And people are asking the same question. Is the same scam happening again? Or is it possible it's even worse? Let's get into it.
Is this like right now they only targeting states with a lot of Somalian nationals?
Fraud here in the state of Ohio.
This Ohio lawmaker making some serious demands on what he calls reports of fraud within publicly funded daycares in Columbus.
You can see that this place is just a total dump.
More people are targeting Somali-owned daycares, looking for kids and suggesting fraud.
Would you call these video clips allegations, or would you call them proof of fraud?
That's just an allegation of fraud.
Now, State Rep Josh Williams, who is running for U.S. Congress, sent this letter to the Ohio Department of Children and Youth, calling for more unannounced inspections and attendance audits of all publicly funded daycares in Ohio. He also wants to pull state and federal funds on the suspicion of fraud, opposed to a charge or conviction.
We're saying the funds have to stop until you prove that it is not fraud moving forward.
I mean, you go through some of these inspection reports and you do see non-compliance when it comes to attendance. Are you suggesting there is widespread fraud within publicly funded daycare centers in Columbus, especially those Somali-owned?
So like, I'm not very much against that. Like what Minnesota is doing right now, they have stopped all funding to all daycares and anything in around that category, and they plan on doing back pay if you can prove that everything you are doing is legitimate.
Well,
I see them going the same route with it too.
We're alleging is that there is widespread reporting of potential fraud from individuals on the ground.
Columbus isn't random. It has thousands of daycare centers, home health care agencies, grocery stores, and nonprofits tied to government funding. Most people are just trying to survive. Most are not doing anything wrong. But history shows that a small group exploiting weak oversight to steal millions and millions of dollars. That is why people inside Ohio are starting to speak up. They're saying that this looks exactly like Minnesota. Same behavior, same resistance to questions, same money streams.
So these individuals tried to report the fraud that was happening in Ohio and then eventually came to me to say that we're watching providers rubber stamp paperwork for home health. So in Ohio, and there's many states like this, Pennsylvania and other states too, where you can go in and you can say my aging parent needs a home health care and I want to provide it. So the state will, as long as the doctor has approved it, continue to pay you. It could be for 10 hours, 12 hours, up to 24 when it's critical care. So you could sit at home without caring for an elderly parent who really doesn't need it, make about $75,000 to $90,000 a year. Now you add two parents, that's $180,000. Now you add your in-laws, $250,000. You wonder, what are the services being provided? A lot of providers came and said, fraud is occurring because we said we weren't going to rubber stamp this.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. What do you guys think about what she's saying?
Paperwork, so they went to other providers. Their home health care network saying, we'll make it worth your while. Well, sounds like a kickback to me. So we really need to investigate the Medicaid system and how much it's increased since the Somalian population came and who really needs critical care, because that's meant for our disabled, our elderly, and people who really need it, not to just live off our system. And that's what's happening in Ohio. I think it's ridiculous. I think it's despicable. But authorities are now looking at it from the Attorney General's office to the U.S. Attorney's office. I flagged them all because this is Ohio tax dollars and we have to take it seriously. I'm tired of people telling me, well, this is the way it's always been. It's subjective and we can't really check. No, you can. Audit America, audit Ohio now. And I'm pushing for that in every single state.
Yeah, definitely. I think that there's going to be, or there needs to be more invested in checking to see if everyone is doing it right, regardless of if you're Somalian or whatever. There's tons of fraud happening across the country. At least some of the Somalian fraud that we've seen, it's so blatantly obvious that it's fraud. That they're not even clever about it. Or at least the first selection of fraud that you can quickly eliminate because they're doing it right in front of everyone's face. They don't really care how it looks. So similar to Nick Shirley, people are walking up to daycare during business hours and they're asking a very simple question: how do I enroll my child? That said, no accusations, no confrontation, but you can look at the reaction.
How much does it cost?
Whoa. You can't just grab my cell phone.
I mean, you are walking up to a establishment on a daycare with your cell phone in your hand, clearly pointing at the people saying, where do I sign up? Like, imagine you walking down the street or somewhere in your own store. Somebody walks in with a cell phone pointed to your face saying, hey, where do I get this? Where do you gonna be, your awareness is gonna be risen, like what is going on? And not only that, in this case, they already know what is going on and why those people are there.
The First Choice Childcare LLC.
Look at this. Why is there?
With a Kasim Brothers semi-truck in the parking lot. That's what you want to see when you're dropping your kid off for childcare, is a semi-truck. See if we can, it's locked.
Yeah, which makes sense. I mean,
Yeah, it
they
should be
should
locked.
be.
Yeah.
Most daycares I've been to, they are locked.
Legally, they should be. You have to protect the kids.
Don't forget that they could probably clearly see you guys from their surveillance camera holding a cell phone with the lady in front. Like, they are not retarded, okay?
lots of security cameras. Notice the trend at all these locations. Camera up there, camera over there.
I'm ready to go back. I think I hear everybody in there.
You are coming with no kid.
There's no cars in the parking lot, so
They're open 7 days a week, though, and there's no signage to say
it's closed. So there's, and then this is kind of the neighborhood you're looking at. Next door. Oh, we have another daycare center right next door. Bright Futures. So I guess we can just. Oops.
They must have started putting these private
Private property, no trespassing. This one also says camera up there.
It's interesting that they've boarded all of this up too, so you can't
You can't see inside at all in any of these.
Tons of daycares where at least this is open, so you can see.
They have a nice lobby entry, yeah.
Hi, I was wondering, are you open today? Do you have any paperwork? I just wanted to look up your enrollment for a 3-year-old. My name is Mehek.
If you have clearly acknowledged that they have surveillance cameras, they could clearly see you standing there. They could see the guy filming you behind you. So they most definitely or most likely 90% sure that they're looking at you and they know exactly why you are there.
I'm sorry? Am I what? You're going to send somebody? No. Okay. Okay. They want us to stop recording for okay, that's fine.
Price after we fill the application?
So how much does it cost?
I don't understand.
Let me see.
Clearly told you to stop recording and they can see you guys recording. I don't think, yeah, they're not stupid, guys. They can see you guys. I'm not saying that there's no fraud going on in Minnesota, but for these people specifically, they can clearly see you filming. And it looks like when they stopped filming, they gave them paperwork and they started filming again. That's when they shut the door.
Just asking how much it costs to go to daycare here.
Thank you.
Is it? How much does it cost?
Whoa.
You can't just grab my cell phone. Like, that's insane. Their hours.
Like, come on, Karen. Like, literally, you went there harassing them. They gave you paperwork. And when everything you asked for, and you still trying to push yourself in there. See, this is what I don't agree with right here.
Are Monday through Friday.
Say they should be open.
And they literally asked if I'm recording and then pushed me. That's insane. There's clearly children in there.
I just don't think you should put your hands on somebody and push them out.
No.
Safe.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering why you're pushing me. No, the lady literally put her hands on me and pushed me. I just had a couple questions.
Well, if they did that, why didn't you call the police?
I mean, I'm not going to call the police. I'm just trying to ask a few questions.
If they pushed you, you should have called the police.
Okay, that's a good idea. I should call the police. Okay, thank you so much. Happy New Year.
This is a question. How do you enroll? How do you enroll your children here? You can't do that? No kids? So how can I enroll my children? It says you get public money through. You get public money through Ohio. You get money through the state of Ohio. This is a money that gets.
What if you can create your own?
Saying it doesn't matter. It is not an open day.
First up,
they won't explain enrollment. They get defensive, they get angry, they physically push people out of the building, and that's not normal. Anyone who has children, you call a daycare, you call a school, they can't wait to tell you all the information. They'll schedule a tour. You can come by, check the place out. Most legit daycares want kids. They advertise. They explain the pricing. They hand you the paperwork. But here we see is locked doors, no visible children, no clear enrollment process, and a lot of aggressive behavior. These are the same red flags that we saw in Minnesota. Different state with the same playbook. Because right now we see a pattern, and patterns do matter. In Minnesota, investigators found daycare billing for kids that weren't there. Payments tied to weak verification systems, little real-time oversight. Ohio seems like they're using the same funding structures. And the locals are saying, you can't enroll your kids. No one's going to answer the door. Auditors are going to get pushed out. And the money just keeps flowing. That's why people are asking questions, not because of race, not because of politics, because this is taxpayer money. This concern didn't come out of nowhere. Ohio already has major SNAP and food SNAP fraud cases, documented cases, court records, millions of dollars, grocery stores swapping benefits for cash, inflated transactions, fraud lasting years before anyone steps in. Now, the governor is not really taking this very seriously. He says investigations are happening. He says that people shouldn't jump to conclusions based on viral videos. But the critics are saying Minnesota said the same thing. Oversight usually comes in way too late.
According to one Midwestern Rhino Republican governor, apparently fraud is just part of doing business now. And that's the message coming out of the Ohio governor's office after questions about potential massive fraud in his state. When asked about the taxpayer-funded daycare centers and the fraud, the response, well, it wasn't shock and it wasn't urgency. It was, this has been known for decades, and therefore, it's just a cost of doing business. That line alone right there deserves a slap across the face from the taxpayer. According to the governor's spokesperson, if you're surprised people might defraud public daycare programs, well, that's on you for being naive. Because everyone knows what happens and with it. And meanwhile, $100 million a year on child care assistance. $800 million. That's almost $1 billion. That's not monopoly money. That's your paycheck. That's the taxes they take from you every pay period. And here's where this starts to get a little uncomfortable. If fraud has been known for decades, that means two things can't be both true. Either the oversight is failing or the fraud, it's being tolerated. Because calling something the cost of doing business, that's not accountability. It's turning a blind eye to the fraud. And why would you do such a thing? Maybe you're in on it. Now, we're expected to budget, and we're expected to document every dollar, and you're expected to follow the rules. But when millions, potentially billions, disappear in public programs, we're told that's just how it works.
We've seen this with the other governor, even the Democratic governor, where they want to always show that they have complete control of what's going on. We got it. We know there's fraud, but we're on it. And that's not working for Tim Walz, obviously. And I guess with this governor here, he's trying to do the same thing. And that is terribly worded. We shouldn't tolerate fraud. Yes, it happens, but doesn't mean it needs to be done to a point where potentially hundreds of millions of dollars are being missing. I don't think that's something that we should tolerate. I think that's something we should take very seriously. We should be very angry about it because a lot of people pay into a system that's being, robbed. So I would say that for that governor, his tone for that governor, that statement just seems to be very out of touch.
And now lawmakers are calling for investigations because similar ghost daycare schemes have already blown up in other states, which raises a very simple question. If this really is the cost of doing business, who exactly decided taxpayers should be the ones paying it?
Aggressive behavior should trigger immediate results because people are arguing that leadership is more focused on keeping Ohio's image clean than aggressively exposing problems early. Now, this governor is a Republican governor. So we see from Democrat governor in Minnesota to the Republican governor in Ohio, we're seeing the same issues. They're not taking it seriously and they're allowing people to commit fraud. We need to continue to repeat this, that every dollar stolen is a child that doesn't get real care, a family that loses support, and a taxpayer getting robbed. Minnesota obviously, this might be just a warning. If Ohio ignores the signs, this will just get worse. And we must really take a look in the entire country to see how far this extent goes in terms of Medicaid fraud and the daycare fraud and all this type of fraud, regardless of who is doing it, because the solution isn't hate, it's audits. Transparency, oversight. Sunlight kills these scams. And that's why so many people are going after, they're going across the country. I've heard that it's happening in Massachusetts. We might have to talk about that as well. Let me know if you're in Ohio, have you seen this type of thing happening? Let me know all your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you for taking time to watch this video. And I'll see you guys in the next video.
Yeah, guys. It's been getting crazy and crazy. So seems like the tour is now in Ohio. And we'll see how it continues. Till later. Talk to you.